Lydia walks into a gun shop with one mission: buy a weapon and enough ammunition to start a war. She hands everything to her boyfriend Jonah, who sits in a car surrounded by hardened criminals. They work for El Padrino, a major gangster who rules the underworld with an iron fist. Word reaches them that a family steals money from the boss, and now Jonah leads a crew to collect what belongs to El Padrino. Lydia tags along, completely unaware of the monster her boyfriend truly is. They storm into a house where a husband, wife, and 3 children live their ordinary lives. The 3 children scatter and hide as bullets tear through their home. Lydia follows the sounds deeper into the house and discovers a nightmare unfolding before her eyes. The husband lies dead on the floor, blood pooling around his body. Jonah stands over the wife, beating her mercilessly while demanding the same question over and over: where is all the money? The woman screams that she knows nothing, but Jonah refuses to believe her. His fists keep flying as Lydia watches in horror. When Jonah notices her standing there, he grins and tells her to watch closely to learn how traitors get punished in their world. His associates tear the house apart, searching for cash that does not exist. Lydia begs him to stop, insisting the woman genuinely has no information about any money. Jonah ignores her completely and continues his savage interrogation. Then his anger reaches a boiling point. He shoves the gun into Lydia's hand and commands her to kill the woman. He tells her that she will join their gang eventually, and her initiation starts right now. He applies more and more pressure, demanding she pull the trigger. Lydia resists with everything she has, but Jonah keeps pushing until she breaks. The gun fires, but the bullet does not hit the woman. It strikes Jonah directly in the chest. Panic explodes through Lydia's entire body. Terror takes over as she runs from the house, leaving behind the chaos and the boyfriend bleeding out on the floor. Across the city, John sits in a support group sharing the story that defines his broken life. He serves in the US Army as a brave soldier who fights in multiple battles and earns respect from his brothers in arms. But after returning home, everything falls apart. In a drunken rage, he kills a man and receives a 7-year prison sentence. The guilt and regret consume him every single day since that terrible mistake. His friend Kirby sits beside him, the only person from his military days who still stands by his side through the darkness. John's marriage ends in divorce long ago, and his daughter Lydia lives far away from him. He exists in complete isolation, working as a tattoo artist to survive, and going straight home every night without any social life. The solitude crushes him, but he accepts it as punishment for his past sins. Then Lydia calls him out of nowhere. Her voice trembles with fear and desperation. She tells him she is leaving her home and urgently needs $2,000 for a new place. John immediately senses something terrible is happening. He knows his daughter well enough to recognize real trouble in her voice. Lydia wants the money so she can disappear from Jonah's people before they find her, but she refuses to tell John the truth. She worries that if her father discovers what happened, he will try to save her and put himself in danger. She wants to protect him from the storm she created. John pushes her to explain what is wrong, promising he will send the money as quickly as possible even though he does not have it right now. He begs her to trust him, to let her father help her through whatever crisis she faces. Lydia breaks down crying and asks if he can meet her in California. John does not hesitate for even a second. He tells her he is leaving immediately and will reach her as fast as humanly possible. John drives through the night without stopping until he reaches California. He finds the bar Lydia mentioned and waits. When she finally appears, she climbs into his car without saying a word. Her face shows exhaustion and terror. John does not question her, understanding she needs space right now. Lydia has been running from Jonah's crew for hours, and the moment she feels safe in her father's car, sleep overtakes her completely. John keeps driving through the night, letting his daughter rest. By morning, they arrive at his home. He carries her sleeping body inside and puts her in bed, treating her with the gentleness she desperately needs. Then he notices her bags and opens them one by one. Inside, he discovers drugs and a gun. The truth hits him like a freight train. His daughter lives with terrible people and uses the worst substances imaginable. But he makes a choice not to confront her yet. She already carries enough pain, and interrogating her will only make things worse. When Lydia wakes up, she immediately demands the $2,000 so she can leave. John tells her he is arranging the money but needs time. He offers her a place to stay, suggesting she can live with him until she finds work and gets back on her feet. But Lydia refuses because she knows Jonah's people will track her to this location and might kill John in the process. She insists she has to leave immediately. John finally demands the truth. Lydia tells him that her boyfriend gets murdered, though she lies about the details. She claims everyone thinks she kills Jonah, and now both the police and dangerous criminals hunt her down. John promises to get her the money within 1 week, then help her reach a safe location where nobody can find her. He calls Kirby first to ask for financial help. Kirby refuses and confronts John about his parenting. He points out that Lydia uses drugs, and giving her money will only fund her addiction. John feels torn apart by the advice, unable to decide the right course of action. That night, 3 men arrive at John's tattoo shop, claiming they want tattoos. But John sees through the lie immediately. These people come to capture Lydia. He grabs his daughter and locks them inside, hoping the men will eventually give up and leave. Instead, their patience runs out quickly. One man pulls out a gun and fires blindly through the walls and windows. John shields Lydia with his own body, absorbing the impact and protecting her from the bullets tearing through his shop. The attackers prepare to force their way inside when Kirby arrives with an entire crew of bikers, all pointing weapons at the gunman. The attackers realize they face overwhelming numbers and retreat before the situation turns into a massacre they cannot win. John understands now that his daughter is in far greater danger than he initially thought. These people will never stop hunting her. He takes Lydia in the middle of the night and drives toward another city, hoping distance will break their trail. Lydia watches her father work tirelessly to save her life, and guilt overwhelms her. She never treats him with respect or honesty, and now he risks everything for her sake. She makes him stop the car and finally tells him the complete truth. She explains that Jonah works for El Padrino, a powerful gangster who sent him to collect money from a family. Gunshots ring out during the confrontation, and she accidentally shoots Jonah in the confusion. Now Jonah's crew hunts her for revenge, and the police want her for murder. John tells her not to be afraid because he will protect her no matter what happens. They will travel far away where nobody can track them down. As evening approaches, they check into a roadside motel to rest. John falls asleep quickly from exhaustion, but Lydia cannot quiet her racing mind. She walks outside for fresh air and meets a young employee working at the motel. They chat casually until Lydia glances at the television screen. Her photo appears on the news broadcast, and she realizes every motel in the region receives faxes with her picture. The young employee receives one at that exact moment. Lydia calls John in a panic, telling him they need to leave immediately. Before they can escape, police cars surround the entire motel with lights flashing. The young employee makes a critical choice to help them instead of turning them in. He shows them a secret exit route that lets them slip past the police cordon. They hide in the shadows and wait for the officers to move away so they can run. John watches the police search each room methodically. When they reach one particular room, gunfire erupts from inside. Bullets tear through the officers one by one as the mysterious assailant massacres the entire police unit. John realizes they need to escape right now before the situation becomes even more deadly. He runs to the parking lot and hotwires a guest's vehicle. Lydia jumps in and they speed away from the motel. Through the rearview mirror, John sees a man chasing their car on foot. This same man just killed all those police officers, though John and Lydia do not know his identity yet. They just keep driving as fast as the stolen car allows. In the morning, John contacts an old associate named Jack from his prison days. Jack runs a mafia operation and has connections throughout the criminal underworld. John asks him to identify the men who attacked them at the motel. John and Lydia abandon the stolen car and hitchhike to another city, asking strangers for rides along the highway. After traveling for hours, they arrive at a bar where John hopes to find Tom, another military friend from his past. When John asks the bartender about Tom's location, the man looks at Lydia and refuses to answer. He would tell John if he came alone, but seeing two people makes him cautious about sharing information. John repeatedly asks for Tom's address, but the bartender holds firm in his silence. Frustration builds inside John, though he resists the urge to start a fight. He walks outside and calls Kirby for help. Meanwhile, Lydia uses her intelligence and charm to manipulate the bartender during casual conversation. The man eventually gives up Tom's address without realizing he has been played. They reach Tom's house, and John immediately demands his money and his Harley motorcycle that he left with Tom years ago. Tom agrees to return the bike, but claims he does not have the cash right now. He asks John to stay until evening while he arranges the funds. That night, Tom invites numerous bikers over and introduces everyone to John. The bikers show respect and perform stunts to entertain their guests. The party continues late into the night until John finally falls asleep from exhaustion. Morning light brings a gun barrel pressed against John's forehead. He opens his eyes and sees Tom's wife pointing the weapon at his head. Tom stands beside her with greed written across his face. They discover the $30,000 reward offered for Lydia's capture, and now they plan to hand over both father and daughter to collect the money. Rage explodes through John's body as he realizes his friend betrays him for cash. He attacks Tom's wife and wrestles the gun away from her. Then he aims the weapon at Tom and demands his motorcycle and money. Tom admits he has no money to give. John considers killing his former friend, but decides their past friendship deserves mercy. He shoots Tom in the shoulder, knowing the wound will hurt but not kill him. He takes his Harley and whatever cash he can find, then leaves with Lydia. They ride down the highway when John realizes Tom sends bikers after them one by one to claim the reward. But John comes prepared this time. He takes weapons from Tom's house before leaving, and now he uses them to eliminate the pursuers. He kills every biker Tom sends, until they finally stop coming. They reach another city and John tells Lydia they must change their appearance to avoid recognition. John shaves his beard and mustache while Lydia dyes her hair a different color. But John decides running is not enough anymore. He needs to confront the mafia member hunting his daughter before dealing with the police. John returns to the prison to meet with Jack face to face. He demands to know the identity of the people chasing Lydia. Jack reveals the complete truth that changes everything. The gangster hunting them is El Padrino, and Jonah works directly for him. The entire story about the family stealing money is a complete fabrication. Jonah himself steals all the money and frames the innocent family to cover his tracks. His plan involves killing everyone in that house so El Padrino never questions what happened to the missing funds. But when Lydia shoots Jonah, the entire scheme falls apart. Now El Padrino believes Lydia has all the stolen money because she is Jonah's girlfriend. That explains why his people chase her with such relentless determination. They want the cash back, and they think she knows where Jonah hid it. While John learns this information, Lydia stays in another motel room. Her phone rings with a call from Kirby telling her to leave immediately because people discover her location. Terror grips her as she runs from the motel and hides inside a movie theater, hoping the darkness and crowds will keep her safe. But another call comes from Kirby's number, and she follows the instructions to a specific location. When she arrives, the horrifying truth reveals itself. Jonah stands alive and well, holding Kirby hostage. He uses Kirby's phone this entire time to track her movements. The bullet wound did not kill him, and he spends weeks hunting for Lydia to eliminate the only witness to his crimes. His men grab her before she can escape. John runs from the prison the moment he learns everything. He tries calling Lydia repeatedly, but she does not answer. Finally, Jonah calls him using Lydia's phone. He tells John that he kills Kirby, and fury consumes every cell in John's body. Then, Jonah threatens that Lydia will die next because she knows all his secrets about the money. John makes a calculated threat in return. He tells Jonah that he knows the truth about the stolen money, and if anything happens to Lydia, he will personally inform El Padrino about Jonah's betrayal. El Padrino will hunt Jonah to the ends of the earth and make him suffer before death. The only way Jonah survives is by releasing Lydia unharmed. They will all keep quiet about what really happened. Jonah agrees to the deal, but John knows better than to trust the criminal's word. Jonah gives him a location for the exchange, but John understands this is a trap designed to kill both of them and destroy all evidence. John begins preparing for war. He drives straight back to Tom's house and steals every bomb and weapon he can carry. Tom tries to stop him, but John shoots him in the shoulder again, leaving him injured but alive on the floor. John loads up with explosives and firearms, then heads to the location Jonah specified. He arrives early and parks his motorcycle across the road as a roadblock. When Jonah's crew shows up, they force John into their car and start driving to a remote location to execute him. But two of Jonah's men stop to move the motorcycle, blocking their path. They do not notice the grenade John rigs underneath the bike. The moment they lift it, the explosion tears them apart. John uses the chaos to attack. He fights his way through the car, killing the criminals one by one with brutal efficiency. During the firefight, Lydia manages to break free and runs from the vehicle. John knows he cannot let Jonah escape alive, so he chases after him. Then, El Padrino's personal assassin appears, the same man who massacred the police at the motel. He opens fire on everyone. Bullets fly in every direction as John realizes he needs to grab Lydia and run before they both die in the crossfire. A shot that strikes John in the chest. Lydia screams and runs to her father as he collapses. Blood pours from the wound as John tells her to leave him and run. He insists that his death will end everything, that nobody will chase her anymore once he is gone. He forces her to flee as police sirens grow louder in the distance. Lydia runs as her father bleeds out on the pavement. The police arrive and arrest Jonah at the scene. With Jonah alive, all charges against Lydia disappear completely. She never murdered anyone, and now the authorities know the truth. John dies from his wounds, sacrificing his life to save his daughter from the consequences of one terrified mistake. At prison, Jack's crew will makes him pay for killing their friend John. Every single day in prison will bring torture worse than death itself. The film ends with a father who gave everything to save his daughter, and a criminal facing an eternity of suffering for his greed and betrayal.